Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Unclesbay, and today I'm going to talk to you about the different forms of numbers because I noticed in lesson 1.2 some of you needed a little bit of help with getting all those different forms. So today I'm going to walk you through how to do that. All right, so here is the workbook page for lesson 1.2. And I'm going to go through how to do it says you're going to write the number in two other forms. So there are three different forms that we use for the numbers. There is the number itself like this, it's called standard form. Then there is the word form, which is this one. And then there is expanded form, which is this one. So what they wanted you to do was look at a number like this one and then write it in the two other ways. So this first one here that they did as an example was 692,004. So the standard form would look like this one here, 692,000 with a comma, 004. And then the expanded form is the one with all of these plus signs. So we look at each place individually and write it out with a plus sign in between. So I'm going to do that with these two other problems here as we work together. And then I would like for you to go back and take a look at your lesson 1.2 and see if you need to fix any of this information. So your lesson 1.2 is going to be slightly different because it's the one on the computer on Google Forms. All right, so this first one, number 2, has the number 314,207. So this form right here is the one that we call standard form. So the other two forms that I'm going to want to use, I'm going to switch to a pen because I think it'll be darker. The other two forms are going to be the word form and the expanded form. So I'm going to start with the word form, like this. So I'm going to write down word form. And then I'm just going to write this out in words. So it's 314,000. So 314,000. Then I'm going to put in a comma. And remember, don't say and, just use the comma. 207 is the second part. So I'm going to say 207. So that's my word form. Then I'm going to do the expanded form next. An expanded form is actually really easy. It's a lot easier than it looks. Now I'm going to do it on my whiteboard, so I'm going to move the paper out of the way and put it here so that I have a little bit more room. But I'm going to use the same exact number, and this is exactly from your workbook page. The number was 314,207. So to do expanded form, I'm going to start with my biggest number. And that's going to be this digit right here, the 3. So I'm going to start with the 3 and I'm going to figure out what place it's in. So remember, our place value starts over here. We have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So the 3 is in the 100,000s place. So I'm going to start with that and write down the value of that 3 is 300,000. Now, another easy way to do this is to look at the number 3 and see how many digits it has after it. So this 3 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits after it. It's going to need 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a way to check yourself and see if you are on the right place value. So the next thing I'm going to do is put in a plus, and I'm going to go to the next digit, which is this 1 right here. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the 3. So I'm going to count over and find out what place it's in. I've got ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So it's a 1 in the 10,000th place. That means it's worth 10,000. And again, I can check by counting the numbers. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers after it. That means I should have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Then I go to the next place. So I finished with the 1. I'm going to go to the 4. I'm going to add a plus sign again. Whoops, this up a little bit. And that 4 is in the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So I'm going to make that 4,000. And I can count the zeros, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it matches up. Then I'm going to go to the next number, which in this one is a 2. So the 2 is in the ones, tens, it's in the hundreds place. So it's going to be 200, 2 numbers after it, 2 zeros after it. Now, because there is a 0 in the tens place, I get to skip that in expanded form. I don't have to write anything for that 0. So the last one is the 7, and it's in the ones place, which makes it just 7. So that is my expanded form for this number. So the number is 314,207, and I would write it this way: 300,000 plus 10,000 plus 4,000 plus 200 plus 7. What I noticed that you are doing in your assignments that you've been turning into me is you're only doing part of the expanded form. You have to make sure that you do every digit separately. So I have, I'm getting things like this. You're writing like 14,000 plus 200 plus 7. So you've got, like, the end of it's right, but every number has to have the zeros after it. So that's the difference between what you're doing and what you need to have for these. Every number, when you're doing expanded form, there should be 1 digit and all the rest should be zeros. And you should have as many numbers that you're adding together as you have digits that are not 0 in this number. So what I mean by that is, like, in this number, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits that are not 0. So when I look at my problem down here for expanded form, I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different numbers in that problem. So let's look at the next one on that paper, which was already in expanded form. And we're going to do the 2 other forms for it. So this number was already in expanded form. It was 600,000 plus 80,000 plus 10. So I'm going to change that into standard form first. So to change it into standard form, I'm going to look at the first number here. The biggest one always goes first, and it's 600,000. So I know that my standard form number has to be in the 100,000s. That means that it has to have 3 place values in the thousands and 3 place values in the hundreds, period. So I know I'm going to have a 6-digit number: 1, 2, 3, comma 1, 2, 3, because it has to match this number. It has to have the same number of digits. So the first number that they gave me was 600,000. So I'm going to come down here to my digits, and I'm going to find the 100,000s place and put that 6 in. So I'm going to count over: ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So this one right here is going to be the 100,000s place. I'm going to put the 6 in. Then I'm going to go to the next number. The next number is 80,000. So I know that that means I need an 8 in the 10,000s place. So I count over: ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. I'm going to put an 8 in that place. Then this one only has one other number, which is a 10. So that means I'm going to put a 1 in the tens place. So I'm going to go find the tens place, ones, tens, and put a 1 right there. Now, notice my number has to be 6 digits, but right now I only have 3. So when I'm going from expanded form to standard form, if I have places that I didn't have numbers for up here, those are all going to turn into zeros when I go into standard form. So this number is the expanded form. This is the standard form of that same number. So the third thing that I'm going to want is a word form. So I'm going to start with my thousands, period, here. So I have 680,000. I'm going to write the words out: 680,000. and then a comma, and then I'm going to look at the next part. I have 10 there, so I'm just going to write 10. So that's the word form for that same problem. So the standard form is 680,010, word form 680,010. They all say the same thing. So now the next part of this worksheet talked about the number that is in the period that has the digits. So it says write the name of the period that has the digits 913. So the period is going to be hundreds or ones, thousands, millions, whatever. So I'm looking at 913 is going to be in the thousands place. So the period that it is in is the thousands. They're basically just asking you what kind of place value that one is. Then it says write the digit in the 10,000s place. So I'm going to go ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. That's going to be 1. And then the last one says write the value of the digit 9. So the value is going to be what I write for the expanded form. The value is going to go the same way. So it's going to start with 9. I'm going to find the number over here, find what place value it's in. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000. So it's 900,000. That's the value of that 9. And again, you can use the digits behind it to check and see if you're right, if you have the right number of zeros. So behind the 9 in this number, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So in my answer, I should have 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm going to do one more example of another number that I'm just going to show you all of the forms of the number. So I'm going to start with standard form. So the standard form for this number all right, so I'm going to go with a really big number this time. So the commas go every 3 places. So the standard form of the number looks like this. I'm going to go to word form next. And I go in the order that I read it, starting with the biggest part of the number. So I have 3 different periods here. I have the hundreds, tens, and the ones. That's the first period. This is the thousands. This one has a million. So my word form is going to start with the biggest one, and that's 1 million. Then I'm going to move on to the next period for the thousands. There are 977 thousands in this number. So it's 1,977,000. Whoops, let me move this over so you can see. Comma again, because there's a comma up in the number. And then the last part is 134. So I'm going to write 134. And that is the word form. And I picked a really long one this time just so that you could see each place value as I go through it. So there's the word form. So last we're going to do the expanded form, and I'm going to need to zoom out because that is going to be a large one. So I'm going to erase it and give myself some. I'm going to need it. Expanded form is definitely expanded. It's definitely big. All right, so expanded form. I'm going to start with the first digit. It's 1 million. So I'm going to start with 1 million. Again, I count the numbers after it, and I need that many zeros. So I had 6 numbers, I need 6 zeros. Then I go to the next place, and that's going to be 900,000. Then I need 5 zeros after it. Oops, that's only 4. That's why you check. Because everybody makes mistakes, so you've got to make sure you check yourself carefully, even if you're the teacher. So 900,000 is going to be my next number. Then the next place value is 70,000. So it's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros after it. Then I go to the next one. It's also a 7, but this one is 7,000 with 3 zeros after it. Then I go to the next number, which is the 1. It's in the hundreds place, so it's going to be 100. Then the 3. It's in the tens place, so it's going to be 30. And then last is the 1 place, and there's a 4 there, so it's just going to be 4. So that's the expanded form of that number. Now remember, if there's a 0 in the number up here, then you get to skip that space when you're writing it down on the bottom. So if you would like some extra practice with this, you can pull out your workbook and do page 5 and page 6. There is also a Google Classroom assignment that goes with this that was part of last week's stuff. It was coming up. It's coming up slowly, but it's coming up. This lesson 1.2 review, and it has some of the other numbers that you can go in and put your answers in. Some of you have turned it in. I have 23 responses, it looks like. I changed it so that if you did it the first time and you were confused, you should be able to go back in and redo it. I changed the setting before. It should have only let you do 1, but it should let you do it multiple times now if you need to go back in and check your work and change it. So that's it for this particular video, and I will talk to you again soon.